Okay, let's see. Switch this to live chat. Switch this to live chat. Hey, Paul is here. Hello, Paul. Let me see this. Yeah, that's good. Okay, I'm gonna switch to this. There we go. Okay, we're gonna play the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe in a chill Saturday evening stream. You know, it's really weird because I've booted up the game twice. Like, I booted up to do the configurations here with OBS Studio, and it told me to set the time. So I just set the time, you know. And then I booted it up right now, and I set the time again, and the game said, "Thank you for setting the time correctly." Most people don't do that. They just leave it at, you know, like 12 a.m. So apparently there's some sort of meta game when you start the game, and it said, "Tell you what, next time you boot it up, just press put your favorite time, whatever it is that you like." It's weird, you know. The Stanley Parable is a weird game, so we're going to play it. So just sit back, relax, and, you know, embrace the weirdness. Hey Peggy, how are you? The Stream Elements bot is here, okay. And as you can see, we have you know, the intro screen, and there's a PC on the desk which mimics this, and there's a PC on the PC, and it's like the recursion, you see? It's the recursion. So we're gonna start the game. We're gonna start the game. Begin the game. The end is never the end, is never the end, is loading.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
It is.
Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year.
Like this.
And although others might have considered it soul-wrenching, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job.
Stanley might be in hell, yes.
Was happy.
But he was happy.
And then one day, something very peculiar happened.
The Stanley
Something
Parable.
that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong.
Yes.
Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Also, he pressed a button. Or he did this, you know? He tried this. But it did not work. Hey, Maddie. Hey, Black. Yes. You think to play the original Stanley Parable game? Yes. You think you're playing the original, and then you realize you're not. I've actually watched a stream of this, like the first hour of the game. So yeah, the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. But for now, it's just a Stanley Parable. You just walk around, and the narrator... Whoa. Just a second. Okay. The narrator said to exit.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Sometimes you miss the memos. Sometimes you go back to your room. It's locked.
Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way.
Okay, don't get sassy with me. Stanley was taking the thing.
Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Stanley looked at the plant for some time. Oh, we should do this with the narrator voice. Let me see if I can put this here. Stanley.
They did not give a rat's ass about the other narrator. He just went around looking for things. The narration reminded Maddie of the Hitchhiker's game. Stanley continued walking down the hallway. Stanley looked at the computer input 424. Turned it off. Stanley didn't know what to do next.
Okay, I'm back to my normal voice. We're going to use the narrator voice for special announcements. Did the narrator voice work? Also slow. Oh, look at this. 420. For this
Room, Stanley paid extra.
Maddie says yes, it did. Awesome. Stanley walked down the hallway. The place seemed weird. There was a picture of a leaf. Okay. Stanley kept walking around.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Hey, human Blaze the cat.
Even though the narrator had said Stanley entered the room on his left, Stanley went to the right.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Yes, it's possibly Stanley wanted that. A human Blaze the cat says, I have the game on Xbox and on Nintendo Switch.
Yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
Stanley actually wanted to drink something. But Stanley could not drink anything.
Really, really worth it being here in the room. A room so utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings. Really worth it.
The narrator starting to get sassy.
Stanley continued.
At this point, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Okay, we're gonna follow the narrator so we can get to the new content. Nope, we're not.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Look at this. The narrator is indeed very sassy. Do not jump from the cargo lift while it's in motion, will cause death.
But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
The narrator kept being sassy.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Yes. Now, in order to advance the story, we're going to continue with the advancement of the story.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Black says, is the narrator related to Gladys?
The narrator was, in fact, related to Gladys.
Who said that? Weird. Hey Greg, how are you? We're playing the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe Super Duper Edition.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Before
doing that, Stanley stared a little bit at the whiteboard. Wonder why it says R.I.P. Friends. Stanley then looked at the papers and the PowerPoint presentation. Stanley did not believe everyone is unique, irresistible.
It was a very conceptual situation. What is hot? Profits, profits, profits. Profits. Profits, profits. We don't know what that. Requires more secondary research. Stripes. You see? This is weird. Also, effects. An ancient form of communications.
At some point, Cantonese Bandit entered the chat, saying the nerdy things.
So, in order to go to this thing...
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Oh, okay. We can do that. Was nothing supposed to be a horror where it looks great? Yes, the Stanley Parable is horror and also looks great. This is the boss's office. Executive bathroom. Look at this. I get the feeling money's for stealing, but not yours, of course. Sad. That's a lovely purse. Extreme bathrooms.
Stanley had no reflection. For a second, he thought about the fact that maybe he was, in fact, a vampire.
Weird. Can I do a courtesy flush? No. Time magazine has a clock on its face. You go to the bathroom, you make the executive decisions there. Exactly. Now look at this. What is this? The beige pages. There are not the yellow pages or the white pages, they're the beige pages. Temperature is going to start rising when JC is. I think they're heading in the wrong direction.
Temperature was, in fact, dropping where JC is. In fact, the forecast called for rain to start right about now.
Weird. The picture
But the panda with the gun on its head was particularly distressing.
mirror is broken with only a frame and there's a tin panel. Yes.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number.
Which is?
2845. But of course,
Two,
Stanley couldn't
8,
possibly have known
4,
this.
5.
Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He
Yes.
stepped into the newly opened passageway.
It was 1 in 1,000. Some kind of backrooms game. Yes, something like that. You know, reality is being worked. Stanley
Got in an elevator.
then went down.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar.
Just a
It
little.
was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Perhaps
Stanley just needed his neck.
or perhaps, I don't know, weird things. Oh, that was electricity, I guess.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
I wonder if this is aperture science. If this is aperture science, we're going to just run straight into the aperture science version of Gladys. The mortar resistance is a little too squishy, and the lady does not have a boomstick, and that's why we have not seen another upload.
the Doctor Reassurance was, in fact, Sunday's series, and this was Saturday.
I know, time is difficult to understand. Yes, this is dark science kind of stuff. Look at this. What can we look at this thing? There's numbers. Now we push the button.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens.
Nice.
What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Who knows these things? This is a nice underground facility. It was...
In fact, a nice underground facility.
Yes, I agree, narrator. Got some weird things. We're gonna push this.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen.
Oh yeah, the architect's matrix.
Eternally monitored in this place where freedom and...
One of them is fired, you see? Right there.
Accordingly, the chance of this being an anomaly was not visibly something feasible.
Or something like that, I don't know. You see, there's only one fired right there. It's employee 601? I think it's 601 fired. Weird. Loading platforms, nice, yes. Good spying on people, yes. Now we push this.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
Sorry.
Jesse Nisgate was a boy he knew he got up. In fact, he was trying to do this.
Le gasp. The horror, yes.
No. He refused to believe it.
No, we're going up now.
He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
I think we were like something like 241, not 601.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy or sad or
Mind control
content.
status.
Walking,
Offline.
eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Oh, look at this. This is like the red pit of doom. So a second number fire as you went up the lift. Oh, maybe. Oh, look at this. Facility power. Mind control idle awaiting input. And some code over there. Yes, exactly. You see, we get the special effects here. Okay, let's activate this. System
and when at
power.
last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
Off. If you had a room like that for 500 TVs in the ZRI, what would you use it for? To monitor the zombies, of course. In fact, you see, we got the things. What is this? Professor X Cerebro?
It was, in fact, the Stanley Parable.
Yeah, I don't think this is Cerebro. Uh-oh. This is a highly conceptual stream, just in case you have not noticed it.
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty.
Hey, Jason C.
Was it over?
Was it just beginning?
Yes. He had won. He
Align.
had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command.
A door.
Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
Stanley decided to stay put and wonder why was the other narrator not shutting the hell up. In chat, below says hi.
Weird. This game is too meta, you know? Too meta. We get an achievement. You can't jump? Get your first achievement.
In chat, Game Master Jin Si-hung appeared.
Hey Tim, how are you? We're playing the Stanley Parable. Ultra Deluxe Super Duper Edition.
Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Less narrator, more broken legs, says Bella. Yes, maybe. Soon. We got another achievement. Beat the game. Well, that was a, you know, like a short stream. Oh, we're here. Maddie says, this is weird. I figured out how to make my audio sound like an old radio. Was thinking about adding narration to my 7 days. Now you're playing a game with narration. Whoa. And Tim says, hi narrator.
The narrator said hi back.
Greg is wondering, is Stanley really free?
All of his co-workers
No.
were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Yes, we're looping now. Stanley was trapped in, you know, like a Groundhog Day situation. Look at this. I hate Mondays.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
We're gonna follow the advice of the narrator.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Oh, look at this. This is how to solve a dispute with a co-worker. Let it ball up inside of you, whoop his ass. Loop long, loop hard. Yes, exactly. Oh, the bathroom closet.
Stanley stepped into the
broom
broom closet, but there was nothing here, so
Except
he turned
a broom.
around and got back on track.
Except a broom. What is that radioactive?
There was nothing here, no choice to make, No path to follow, just an empty broom closet.
Violence.
No reason to
the
still
solution
be
to
here.
everything. Yes. Okay, I'm going. Don't get sassy. I'm
Coming
going
to a
down.
staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Stanley was making clicking sounds, even though he was
But Stanley
in the
just
basement.
couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss. Admitting he had left his post during work hours, he might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he
Yeah,
believed
narrator was not
everyone
seen
had
properly.
vanished. His boss would think he was crazy.
The
And then
bananas.
something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all. None of it made any logical sense.
Nope.
And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner.
Had be.
Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking?
That was not the question.
Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought.
That was
While
not
he
the
thought it all
question.
very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be?
The question
Stanley
was, how
simply
dare
deceiving
Stanley
himself,
be smoking the
believing that
weed?
if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself?
And had he pay extra
Stanley
for
is
that
as
matter.
awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago?
Yeah,
How
well,
else would the voice explain all
they're
that?
floating.
This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just...
Greg
He would
wondered
prove
if
it.
you could open.
And the
He would
doors
prove
behind
that
you.
he was in control, that this was a dream.
You could not.
So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want.
Wake
I
up.
want my apartment and my wife and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
Oh, sorry. Apparently that was not a joke. So sad. Stanley was
Stanley
still
began
in hell.
screaming. Please, someone wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black. This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming
in an
to
endless
himself,
loop.
and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy, this much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day, the very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
And that was the end of Stanley. Stanley woke up again. This was clearly a Groundhog Day scenario.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Stanley had no
decided to go
freaking
to the
clue.
meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
She was the killer, yes. Stanley woke up to room 420, but he could not enter since he had not paid extra. New content.
It was at this point that JC wondered if this was indeed the new content of the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe Super Duper Edition.
Yes, new content.
Oh, new content?
Yes.
What does that mean, new content?
It's new content, bro.
Hello, and thank you for playing the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. As you may know, the Stanley Parable was a video game released in 2013 on home computers. After receiving critical and commercial success, it was expanded upon in 2022 with the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, a reimagining of the game for consoles and home computers. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe features exciting new content that broadens and expands the world of the Stanley Parable, delighting audiences the world over. Please, step inside and see what thrilling new adventures await in the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
Oh, well, this sounds delightful. I'm very excited to see the thrilling new Ultra Deluxe content.
It is content that is new, as Drug said in chat.
Okay, so far it's an elevator. Nothing special yet, but I'm sure it's just the beginning of a mesmerizing adventure.
It's new content, bro. It's new content.
Is it broken? What's going on here? Should we be moving somewhere or... Oh,
Yeah,
there we
no,
go.
we're moving, we're
All right,
moving.
finally, at long last, it's on to the new content. I've never been more ready. Let's do it.
You play the game like this?
I have to say, initial impressions of Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, mostly tedious.
It was most likely the Stanley
okay.
Parable.
Let's see the
Greg.
content. Give me the content, Stanley.
And look at this. New content. Take a look at the new content.
To be honest, the new content looked like
Okay,
All
let's
right.
see.
All right, let's see. It's the jump circle.
This is the jump circle. In the jump circle, you can jump. You see? You can jump. And the timer goes down every time you jump in the jump circle. I wonder what's going to happen now. Did they help with the game design of This Is No Game Wrong Dimension? Oh, it has a certain similarities. Okay, the jump content is, is extinguished.
Is that it?
Yes.
Surely that's not all the new content. There has to be something else, right?
I don't know. But I don't have any jumps remaining. Okay. People in chat
started wondering why they were watching this stream instead of something next 7 days today, which was, of course, the content what JC was most known for.
Okay, this is getting better, Absolutely meta.
Goodness.
Hopefully there will be another jump circle.
Stanley, I have to say, initial impressions of this game are not positive. It's just elevators and jumping. Is this what passes for exciting new content? If this is new content, then I could just read you the whole dictionary. There's 20 hours of new content right there. Hell,
Indeed.
I could counter 30 trillion. You could put that on the box. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, now with over 1,000 hours of new content. And oh wait, there's more. Very good. Yes. I knew there had to be something else. Let's see it. I'm ready for whatever it is.
But people don't know is that indeed this was probably set in the same universe as 7 days today, as this was after the apocalypse.
Greg loves the inventory management as well. Thank you for enjoying the new
That's
content.
it? Oh, you've got to be kidding me. You see, Stanley? This is what happens
There's
when
a chair
greedy
over there.
video game developers with no respect for their fan base rush a cheap expansion to market for no reason other than to make an easy dollar. And don't get me started on the level of craftsmanship that's gone into it. In fact, I'm looking right now at the game's achievements, and it's hard to believe one of them actually says, "Test achievement, please ignore." What quality assurance department signed off on this? I'm infuriated and I'm offended, and I intend to find these people on Twitter and hold them personally accountable.
And tell them is
It's my fault, Stanley. I built up too much anticipation around the new content, I'm afraid. It could never have lived up to such expectations. If you're still with me, why don't we just reset the game, and we'll try to get back to what the Stanley Parable is really about. No frills, no gimmicks. Just you and me having a great time together like always. What do you say, friend?
yes. Well, that worked. Can you jump outside the circle in the new content area without going into the circle? I don't know. Watch your mouth. Yes. Okay, we're back. You see, we are 4 to 27. We're in the loop. Oh, look at this. This is new content. Oh. Look at this. The old content. The old content was particularly
Nice.
That's what they do. They make violence of themselves. What?
Stanley!
Hey,
Come
there's
over
new,
here! In the vent!
there's
I
new
want
content.
to show you something!
There's new content over there. What happens if we go over here?
Oh, you don't want to see the cool surprise I made for you? Well, fine. You're a dork anyway, so who cares?
Who are you calling dork, you face? It's a trap. Yes, it might be a trap. Ah. Classic Stanley Parable, standard content. Look at this. New content. Oh, it's locked. Weird.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his... This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Weird.
Wow, Yes, this room. What
Nice.
a beautiful room. But eager to get back to business,
Yeah,
Stanley
Stanley
took the
just went.
first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not.
No, you're
I
not?
realize that investing your trust in someone else can be
An Easter egg
difficult,
of Season
but
King.
the fact is that the story
Oh,
has been about nothing
nice.
but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself.
I will.
I'm not asking for me. This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself. To put your work aside. To let her back into your life.
Who?
She's been waiting.
It was at that point.
Right. That JC wondered why was there like an empty, pitch black corridor ahead of him.
Weird.
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this. To reach out to her.
Hello? 427.
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting.
It's
I'm
called
just pulling
Marriage.
the bread out of the
Pitch
oven.
black.
All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
Gotcha! Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife?
No.
They want to commit their life to you.
Yes.
I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley.
Okay.
I'm trying to get you to see something.
Someone
Come
is hate
inside.
watching?
Let
I
me
don't
show
know,
you
man.
what's really going on here.
Hate watching is
The very well documented phenomenon of you not liking something that you're watching, yet still watching it.
This is a very
We are
sad
maidenless,
story about
yes.
the death of a man named Stanley.
press F.
Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence.
And this is part of the original game.
Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do. Now he's pushing a button.
Yes,
now
hate watching.
he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life.
The mannequin.
It was particularly creepy.
But in his mind, he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful. And each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him. And so he began to fantasize about his own job. First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth.
Oh, the other
The
narrator.
thought
Okay.
excited him terribly. So he went further. He imagined that he came to two open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It
Choice.
barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold.
This is the old content. I want to come back to the new content.
As he wandered through this fantasy world, he
Whoa.
began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations.
This changed.
Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions. And
Yellow
down
line,
another was a game
trademark.
with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable.
Yes.
It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time.
R.
But there is no answer.
No.
How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing
Follow
has
the yellow brick
changed.
road? Yes.
The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets. The more he forgets which life is the real one.
I want to follow the yellow brick
And I'm
road.
trying to tell him this. That in this world, he can never be anything but an observer. That as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself.
Yes.
But he won't
He was
listen to
making
me.
the joke.
He won't
of,
stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it.
Do it.
You see? Can he just not
Jokeception.
hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself?
The new content?
I suppose I can't, not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose.
No.
I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must.
You must.
Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again.
Please die.
Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again. And Stanley pushed a button. And I tried.
And the game died.
That was the poker.
Stanley tried to go to the new content again.
Stanley, come over here. In the vent. I want to show you something.
JC decided
He had lost too many viewers going to the old content, so he went back to the new content.
look at this, a coffee nut, a screwdriver. Here we are in the new content. This game is weird,
Okay,
you know it.
You remember how cheap and unsatisfying the new Ultra Deluxe content turned out to be? Well, it
A little
got me
bit.
thinking about the past and how much better the Stanley Parable used to be.
Okay.
So I made something special and tucked it away here where the game's developers won't find it.
Oh,
Just our little secret. Take a look.
JC
Realized he was now playing Elden Ring.
I call it the Memory Zone. It's where I've been storing all my favorite memories so I can relive the peak experiences of my life whenever I want. Experiences like the launch of the Stanley Parable on PC.
Yes, that might have been something like the Oblivion Gate. The Memory Zone. Hey, Power Punch, how are you? That's
He greeted Power Punch. He knew something weird was going on with this Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, which was in fact the game he was playing.
Other narrator is alive? Yes. Or is it the
You see,
Oblivious
Stanley,
game? Who
doesn't the
knows?
Memory Zone remind you of how wonderful Stanley Parable was before it was sullied with a cheap re-release? Remember back in October of 2013 when the game originally launched? Back then, video games had integrity. Back then, it all meant something. Oh, the waste.
You see? You get the things, you get that, and you get like this Steam screenshot, the Stanley Parable. Good times. Look at this. The original remake. Memory lane. Smile because it happened. Also happens. The Stanley Parable. The Stanley Parable demonstration. Nominee, British Academy Award. Nominee, British Academy Award. Debut game. Story. Debut game. Game innovation. New video game releasing today. creator surprisingly down to earth. Late edition. All the news that's fit to print. Oh, this is what we saw when Stanley died. Okay. In loving memory of little Stanley. Oh, there was like a, what is that? It's like a rat or some sort, a gerbil. When JC realized he forgot to check the corners, it was too late. A zombie, just jump from over here. Okay, I guess we better start digging and build a new facility. Oh, look at this. What the crap? What the crap?
And over here is where I keep reviews of the Stanley Parable. Like
Okay.
the stunning triumph of games journalism. 10 out of 10 from Destructoid.com.
Hey, friendly boys.
Stephanie Sterling
You got an
writes, and I
operation.
quote, "Where so many games that aspire to be more than games end up less than any form of art, Stanley Parable strives and then succeeds to be every game ever created." Did you hear that, Stanley? Every game ever created. That's how grand and all-encompassing the original Stanley Parable was. It was literally every game ever created. It was Skyrim, it was Persona 3, it was all of them, and now it's nothing. It's no games at all. It isn't even the Stanley Parable anymore. It's just a husk now. A lifeless husk with an hour of new elevator content.
JC
Hope Friendly Voices operation had gone well.
Yeah, we gotta... I don't know, there was music. I hope that music is not copyrighted. Otherwise, I'm going to be pissed. What is this? Memory zone maintenance. I cannot open that. The original remake. Oh, Doctor says, it's boring, good night. Maybe when you decide to play 7 Days to Die again, I'll watch.
She did not give her answers.
Here's another moving passage, this time from GameSpot.com.
Yes,
The Stanley
GameSpot, a
Parable
9.
is both a richly stimulating commentary on the nature of choice in games and
Look
one
at
that
this.
offers some of the
Cardboard
most
textures.
enjoyable, surprising, and rewarding choices I've ever been confronted with in a game. 9 out of 10. Don't you get it, Stanley? The game was perfect. It didn't need anything else. It didn't need new content.
It did not
just
need-
needed to be left alone. To spend the rest of time collecting dust in the hallowed hall of beloved video game memories.
Oh, something open over there. Preparing snake oil salesman road. Weird. And you see the source engine, because the original Stanley Parable was made with the source engine. That's why it was very similar to like Half-Life and the other thing. Okay, I cannot enter the serious room. What do I do now? Can I open over here? Nothing.
These were simpler times, Stanley.
Yeah, I want to
But
enter
I
the
wouldn't
serious
give
room.
to go back, to have it all over again.
Yeah, I wanna do something. Yes, you gotta keep it fresh, you know. I don't know what to do. I cannot jump. There's no jumping circle here. Let's go back. Nothing. Oh, look at this. Maintenance is open
Wait.
now.
Hang on. I don't recall this part of the memory zone before. What's this? What's down here?
Zombies. Look at this, you see?
Oh,
No?
no. Oh, God, no. Stanley, it's a collection of reviews from Steam, the online video game distributor. I haven't
is very
looked at these
meta.
in years. I can't even imagine what's been collecting down here. Surely these reviews were glowing as well, weren't they?
Yeah. Not recommended.
Honestly, I could not be bothered to play this game to full completion. The narrator is obnoxious and unfunny, with his
Yes.
humor and dialogue proving to be more irritating than entertaining. Unfunny! I'm not trying to be funny. I'm trying to make a serious work of art. I suppose I could write up a handful of gags to insert into the Stanley Parable, but the game is already such a densely layered web of profound philosophical insights that I can't even imagine where I'd have the room to stick them.
Yes, Saturday we do all the things. Exactly. And the books and the things. Paul says, I think the narrator is hilarious. Steam reviews. Pretty sure we're gonna get a shotgun and we're gonna start blasting zombies immediately, people. Immediately.
Okay, let's see what this one says. While the idea for the game is good, for someone who prefers non-linear games, this preachiness gets annoying fast. Preachy? Stanley? I'm not preachy, am I? You can tell me if I'm preachy. Honestly, you can. Oh,
The narrator.
It was a
This is
bit
actually
preachy.
quite shocking for me. Well, to be honest, I had always thought of the game's dialogue as being rather terse to begin with. You can't
Yeah, a
know
little
how
bit
much
preachy.
fluff I cut from the game to get it to feel as light and airy as it... Well, I always thought it did, but maybe it wasn't. Oh dear. What an awful memory to have to hold on to. These black marks on my otherwise unimpeachable track record. I feel like a failure. Like I let these people down. Perhaps the Stanley Parable isn't quite as sterling as I always remembered.
Me and Rude reviews tend to get posted on the Steam, so more games are not, or every review is on it. Yeah. Oh, things are good. Mixer ups from one thing. I agree. That's why we play several games, you know? We play the good
What's this one
games,
got to
bad
say?
games, the weird games.
You constantly have to stop doing anything so the narrator can catch up with his long-winded explanations of what's happening. I wish there was a skip button.
Huh.
A
Cookie
skip
name.
button. Well, yes. Yes, I think we can do that. If I'm truly too preachy, then maybe letting you skip ahead for just a moment, surely it couldn't hurt. Not if it means we can strike these negative reviews from the record. Only positive reviews of the Stanley Parable. That's
Look
my
at this.
motto today.
It's
and
rising.
It's always been my motto. I'd do anything for the customer, Stanley. Yes, a skip button we shall have.
Look at this. The skip button.
And here it is. Go ahead and give it a shot. I'll pop you... Oh, you're back, you see? You were
Yeah.
only frozen in time for a few minutes, but it was plenty of time for me to deliver a long, rambling monologue full of unnecessary verbal flourishes and lengthy ruminations on the nature of choice in video games. Of course, I happen to believe it was perhaps one of my more profound such ruminations. Not that, of course, you need a description of it, but if
No, of
I had
course.
to describe it, I'd say it was perhaps less of a rumination and more of a treatise. Or maybe a manifesto. Look, I'll outline it for you. Well, there, sport. You really did catch me rambling on a bit, didn't you? But that's
Yeah.
the power of the button. The minute I start to go off on a thoughtless display of self-absorption, it's... Okay, welcome back, Stanley. Now, I should say that the amount of time the button has been skipping through is becoming longer and longer. That last one was, well, I want to say maybe 30, 45 minutes? Stanley, please don't push the button again. It's been 12 hours. You've just been frozen there. I don't know why the skips are getting longer, but
I
they're
don't know,
really,
man.
truly getting longer, and my God, there's no way out of the room. Stanley, the door is gone. It's completely gone.
The door is
I've
gone.
looked at it from every angle. I've checked every one of those. Oh, Stanley, you're back. You're back. Oh, my goodness. I have someone to talk to again. Stanley, I think it's been a week. Or 2 weeks.
Oh,
I've
wow.
been sitting here all that time, just sitting here, not a single person to speak with.
Just
And you'd
talking to
think that
yourself,
that's
huh?
just how it's always been, right? Me talking and you saying nothing.
Yeah.
Would you think that it's exactly the same as always? Doesn't that feel like what we've already
The plant
been
is
doing?
lying?
Me
This
just talking?
plant over here?
It
Look
isn't,
at this.
Stanley. It isn't the same at all. It isn't even close. Because I know you can't hear me once you push that button.
Shut up.
That's... Oh, hello. It's you. You're
Hello.
here again. Welcome.
Yes.
I have had time to think about you and about
Oh,
us
the
and
plant
about
is
everything
dying.
we've
Yeah,
been
you
through.
see?
I've had so much time. I stopped keeping track after a year. Have
After a
you ever
year?
sat down in one place and not moved for one entire year? Let me describe it for you. To begin with, there is only regret. There is only the turning
More than
wheel
a
of
year.
missed opportunities.
Let's see
I
how
felt
long is
nothing at
this
all
time.
but regret for the longest time.
Okay, I think the narrator is gone. The narrator...
Was, in fact, gone.
Are you not hungry? I don't know, man. Stanley is more of a conceptual identity, you know? Or thirsty. Hey, Zombie Flanders, how are you? We're taking a look at the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe Super Duper Edition. Look at this. Clock is down here. Plant is dead. This thing is just beeping. Skip.
But they didn't understand the game was never meant to be funny. It was meant to have a point. It was meant to speak to the human
Why is
condition.
this guy
But
rambling
where are
again?
the jokes? Where are the jokes? They bemoaned, they screamed, they gnashed their teeth and said,
Zombie Flanders love this
"Entertain
game.
us."
Awesome.
It wasn't enough. They had to leave a pathetic little thumbs down review and make all of their pitiful demands. But then, he's talking too much, they said. First,
This is
he
weird.
didn't entertain us, now he won't shut up. It's the inconsistent.
Okay.
He started to wonder if this game was ever going to feature the zombies.
Probably not. Is it time travel concept? We're skipping time, you know? We're skipping time. And the narrator appears to disappear in some of the skips. And in the last one, he was just rambling. And now we're just gonna keep skipping.
The end is never the end, 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 is never the end.
Narrator! Narrator! Zombie Flanders just showed up. In fact, yes! Oh, look at this. There's like a water coming from the... Does room have a, by the way, is a door when you skip? I don't know, man. I'm not seeing any doors. It always ends with zombies, yes. In the end, it's always about zombies. Just looking around, there's like... It's just like... You see... Leaking... Did you get the closest parts? This is my favorite part of the game. I don't know. Oh, look at this. We're skipping through time and things are just degrading. See, Fractal is here saying check the culverts, check the, you know, like, pipes. Because that's how they drain you. Exactly. Okay, apparently it's been maybe like a few hundred years with time skipping. Oh, look at this. Every time we skip, there's more, like, damage. Is this safe? Probably no. Probably not OSHA compliant. You see? There's even plants now. Nature is healing. I hear like lost voices. We might be in another apocalypse. We are in an apocalypse. Yep, I'm gonna need a boomstick. Oh, the plants are gone. Oh, look at this. Now we can just move outside. Yeah, desert biome. Probably a few thousand years into the future. I'm just moving. But I don't see anything around here. I wonder if I can just keep again with the button, you know? Because I'm not seeing a clear path. The end is never the end, is never the end, is never the end. Oh! This is a night soundscape, yes.
JC wondered if that was the extent of the new content. He knew it could not be, because the Stanley Parable Super Deluxe was, in fact, a new game within an old game.
Okay.
Stanley had never seen the office this brightly lit. Was it a sign of something? He
Couple
hoped it
million
was.
years, yes.
He hoped very much that it was.
Stanley couldn't enter the 420 door because he had to pay extra. You gotta get to the closet. That's the best part. This one. New content. The closet.
Oh, good. You notice my sign.
Yes.
I have something very exciting to show you.
There's a lot more? Okay, good. Now we're going to the new content. The additional new content. Well, this is the elevator.
You see, Stanley, I've been reflecting on the Stanley Parable and about how roundly disappointing this ultra deluxe version has turned out to be.
Very
the
disappointing.
original Stanley Parable was a landmark, and any new content for it should live up to that legacy. So forget this ultra deluxe nonsense. I say we take it one step even further. Which is why I'm very proud to announce for the first time ever the Stanley Parable 2.
The Stanley Parable 2.
Yes, you see, isn't this far superior to a measly re-release with a few minor additions? Think of all the new territory we'll cover with a fully fledged sequel. An entirely new experience, built from the ground up. Why, there are so many possibilities. It could go in so many different directions. This is what fans have truly been asking for.
You see? There is something groundbreaking coming.
It's just
nice.
so much catchier than Ultra Deluxe, don't you think?
Yes.
Ultra Deluxe? What does it even mean?
Now
But
it's
the
a Stanley Parable 2.
2. Now that's an artistic statement right there. It's
2 doors.
future-oriented. It screams progress and innovation and long-term franchising potential.
2, you see? 2 doors.
Now, to be clear, I haven't quite nailed down what exactly the Stanley Parable 2 is going to be, but
No one
let's
has,
take a
bro.
look at some of the features I've been developing for it. I figure that if I can loosely organize a handful of interesting concepts, that surely the game will sort of naturally spring up around them. It'll all work itself out. Game development is much more of a fuzzy magic than anything scientific or logical, really.
Yes. The Stanley Parable 2. This way to the show floor. New features. New content. New doors. New stairs. Sad reviews on Steam was nothing compared to the nice game content at this point. GC makes it much nicer as well. good combination.
Here we are.
Awesome.
Go on, try out some of the new features.
You see, is the Stanley Parable 2. The button that says the name of the player that is playing the game. What is the button that says the name? Okay, over there
For
we
the
get
Stanley Parable 2, I asked myself, what do players really want?
too big,
And of
too
course,
small,
the
just
first
right.
and most obvious answer is that they want to be individually recognized and validated as people. So with that in mind, my first addition to the game is this button which speaks the name of the person playing the game. Isn't that wonderful?
Yes.
Jim.
Sorry, I should have clarified. Right now, the button only says the name Jim. But of course, in the final game, this button will say your name, whatever name that is. Here, let's have you role-play as Jim to really simulate the full experience of this feature. Just play along. I promise you'll love it. Okay, here we go. Let's take a deep breath, clear your mind, forget whoever you are, and simply become a person named Jim. I want you to imagine yourself living as Jim, sleeping and waking as Jim, falling in love and being heartbroken as Jim, seizing
Who's that,
all
Jim?
of the world's possibilities as
Jim.
Whoa, hold on. I wasn't finished setting up the backstory. If you don't properly roleplay as Jim, then you'll never understand the impact of this button. Otherwise,
Yes.
it's just a stupid button that says somebody else's name. Okay, we're doing it again, and this time let me finish first. Now, allow yourself to become Jim.
It's weird game,
Imagine
Grassy.
yourself. All right, fine, whatever. It's just a meaningless button that says Jim. Are you happy now? Get out
Yes.
of here. I'm done with this button. Why don't you go humiliate me in front of a different feature that I worked very hard on?
But the good thing is that it says
See, if you'd only played along, that would have been your name the button says, but no. Instead, I can't even think about it. I'm taking the Jim button away.
no.
Jim. 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 Jim.
Oh. GC was
Actually said the Jim button had been taken away.
hey, relaxing times with it's
Maybe
I'm
I'll
drawing
only
a blank.
let people named Jim
Sorry.
play the Stanley Parable 2. They would appreciate what I've created.
I was just
here.
saying Jim, you know, and all I could say is Jim, but it's not Jim. I'm Jim, and the being of Jim is so very parable of epic adventures. Yes. You know, I want to say your name, but all comes to mind right now, incredibly so, it's Jim. You see, the Stanley Parable is Michael. You know, your name is Michael, but the Stanley Parable has me thinking about Jim. Yes, it's Michael and Erica in the house with the baby, but you know, I want to say Jim. That was good. That was a good one, game. You made me say Jim. It's not Michael.
Okay, I'll be honest, I haven't yet decided on this one. I think that in the new version, the office could use a bit of decoration,
Okay.
like balloons. But I'm undecided on Get Well Someday and Happy 12th Birthday. Which would you go with?
You've lost your marbles. Yes. You play the Stanley Parable, you start to think weird things. Okay, how do I get out of here? This is what happens to you when you play the highly conceptual button.
You know, sometimes when you solicit another person's opinion, it makes you realize that you knew which one you actually really wanted all along. Get Well Someday it is.
The Get Well Someday button. Nice. Okay, that's it. Let's go. What game is it? Asks Michael. This is the Stanley Parable.
Maybe I should have gone with... no.
Ultra Deluxe,
No, I've made my
otherwise
decision.
known
We're
as
moving on.
the Stanley Parable 2. And this was the hole where I just was pressing the button that said Jim over and over again, and I got fixated on Jim. Please, no screenshots. Or Jim, yes. Collectibles, you see? What do we have here? Free, new, and easy achievement. It's a free and new... pull the lever, receive your new achievement, no more steps.
Now here's something special. You remember that broken test achievement that got left in the game on accident? Well,
Yes.
I'm developing a technology to simply give you the achievement. Yes. You see, you'll come to this lever, and when you pull it, the achievement will be given to you. It's as
What happens if
simple
you
as
do
that.
take a screenshot? I don't know, because I have the screenshot button set to a different thing, so I don't know.
Okay, perhaps I should have clarified. This is technology that will exist. Right now, the achievement is still fully broken. I'm not a wizard, Stanley, but I guarantee it will be fixed in the sequel to at last satisfy the hordes of ravenous fans all over the world who have been uproariously demanding this feature. Gamers, we hear you, and I promise it will happen.
Now the game developer is trolling us. In fact, the game
Developer was trolling their players.
well, that's going to be in the sequel. People were so mad you couldn't get the achievement. Yes, because it was a test achievement.
What else? What other exhibits haven't we seen
We got
yet?
the infinite hole over here. It won't end. Please no screenshots. Let me see. What happens if I try to take... It worked. Oh yeah, because I'm using OBS. I took the thing. It did nothing. Okay, we're going to the infinite hole. Hole like infinity. Distant past, time like infinity, distant future, distant space-time, distant space-time. Where's the infinite hole? Hole entrance. Infinite hole chart. Educational use only. Depth, space, science, more. This looks like a zombie research initiative thing. It just keeps going, you see? It's a hole.
Stanley, here's an idea that I'm
This is the
truly
infinite hole,
fond of.
people.
It's never been done before in a video game.
Yes, we're
This is, in
playing
fact, a
the
hole
Stanley Parable,
that you can fall
the
down
Ultra
forever.
Deluxe.
That's right. Infinite falling. You can fall until the end of time, if you like. A stunning leap forward for video games as a medium. You see, isn't it wonderful? One of
It
my
is
more
pretty cool.
ingenious concoctions, if I do say so. Now then, since you've gotten to see the infinite hole, you can press the teleport button to pop back up to the top, and we can continue onward.
Press G to return to the surface.
Now, I don't mean to be a bummer, but I do recommend you use the teleport button to go back to the top. Maybe do it on the sooner rather than later spectrum of things.
This is not an infinite hole.
Okay, Stanley, I don't know quite how to say this tactfully, but it's possible that I slightly exaggerated the infinite nature of the hole. Is it a very, very deep hole? To be certain it is. It's an extremely deep hole. I don't want anyone to say that it isn't an astonishingly deep hole. It is. Is it infinite? Well, that sort of depends on your definition of infinity. From one perspective, the infinite is merely philosophical in nature. It's more of a... Okay, well, good for you. You found the bottom of the hole. You found me out, Stanley. I'm a liar and a cheat, and you're so clever. Look, I think the issue here is just that you're unusually fascinated by falling. What normal person actually wants to fall infinitely? I figured the hole was as deep as anyone would actually need. Don't you put this on me. Maybe you're the problem. Look, things got a little heated there. I think
The
we both
narrator
said
was
some
in
things
fact
we didn't
the
mean.
problem.
Why don't we just put all this behind us and agree to just call the whole
I don't know how I
mostly
survived the
infinite?
thing, you know?
If that works for you, Then go ahead.
You cut
and
out
press
all the
teleport
episodes that you
button
gave me and
to
loving the
walk up to
storyline.
top of the
Awesome.
hole and we can move
There
on.
was another
I'll just
episode
be up
yesterday,
here
by
when
the
you're
way.
ready.
You need to watch that. 7 Days to Die, Titanfall.
Great. Now, I'm very excited to show you even more of my ideas for the sequel. Oh, for heaven. You see, I was right. The problem is you. The problem is that you like holes too much. Not normal. A normal person would have said, yep, that's an infinite hole right there. Goes on forever till the end of time. Don't need to see it all, but not you. Oh, no, 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 no. You have a weird sort of...
Didn't even break an ankle, yes.
Oh. Did the hole seem even shorter to you this time?
It seemed
I couldn't help
shorter.
but feel like you spent a little less time in there than you did before. I mean, admittedly, I didn't make an infinite hole. I didn't think it was that not
I fell
infinite.
to my death.
Well, I suppose once again
Yes.
there's nothing to do here. If you decide you've had enough of the hole, you can hit the teleport button and come join me up above.
I'm trying to hit
Had
the
enough?
Okay.
I'm positively thrilled. Oh gosh, how could I have guessed? You're back in the hole. If this starts to become a thing where... Wow. Okay. Yes. I'm starting to become extremely certain that the hole is not only not infinite, but that it's growing steadily less and less infinite.
So yes, it's
I
not very
suspect that
infinite
I'm
at this
starting to hit
point.
the point where it's no longer feasible to call the hole infinitely deep,
It's
even
just
by
like
the
the
lax
whole-
overall standards for accountability in marketing. What's going on here? Stanley, I have no explanation for the uncertain nature of the hole's length. Here, let's try something. Let's pop back up to the top, and we'll see if it gets any shorter.
Michael says, I didn't watch that one. Yeah, that one came up yesterday.
Well, there it is. The shame of my
Oh, look at
lie
this.
has come to haunt me.
The
Not
infinite
only
hole
the
is no
hole
longer
not
infinite.
but it's barely even a hole at this. How is this still appealing to you?
I like the
I know
hole.
you're obsessed with holes, but at this depth, I just can't see this scratching the itch. Oh, who am I to judge? You just do whatever it is you're here to do and hit the teleport button when you're ready to move on.
I'm hitting the...
Is the, teleport button not working?
Nope.
You sure?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I really don't have an explanation. Still nothing? Well, I suppose there is one thing I can do to fix
The
this.
infinite hole has
I'm
hole
out.
in its description.
Goodbye, Stanley. You couldn't bear to be away from the hole, and now you'll get more time with it than you could ever have asked for. It's a win for everyone.
Ah,
You
come
get
on,
to
bro.
be with the hole, I get to do literally anything else.
Hey, Jason, how are you?
Take care, Stanley. I hope you and the hole have a wonderful rest of eternity.
Hey, come back here.
Plus, Jason's good for 2 I like the holes. And Jason just joined his stream.
Yeah. We're just like the tip here in the hole. And this is a family stream. Hey, narrator! Hello? I'm in the hole. Oh, look at this. The hole is going down. It's not a hole. It's a piston. Whoa. Changed your perspective. Black hole song. Yes. Is this like a zombie game? No, this is the Stanley Parable. It's a weird game. We're changing our perspective, you see? In fact, this might be like a thumbnail.
longer using up this space of mine. My head's stronger. Now you're no longer using up this space of mine.
Yeah, we're going down to the Umbrella Hive facility. I might have divided by 0. JC.
Had indeed divided by 0.
Oh, look at these puppies! Oh man, this is weird.
Stanley?
Hey, bro.
Stanley!
What?
Oh, good, you're awake. It seems you had sort of dozed off there,
Yeah.
drifting away into dreamland. But we can't have that, Stanley, because this hole is just so darn fascinating that I want you to be wide awake for every second of it. You don't want to miss a single moment.
427,
so how
huh?
about if
Yeah.
I just pop in from time to time and wake you up to keep you really, truly focused on the hole?
Yeah, this game is
From the looks of
bananas.
things, you and I will have many, many years here in this hole, and I'm looking forward to all of them.
Okay, I want to
Stay
get out
alert,
of the hole.
Stanley. I'll be back. Toodlepip.
Don't toodle peep me. Hello? Oh. Oh, you want to see what I could have done in the dream? Yeah.
Go on, try out some of the new features.
The Stanley Parable 2. Okay, taste the sequel. That's the font of The Last of Us. Now, screenshots. What do we have here? The Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket. What is that, like the weighted companion cube? I want to see this.
A common complaint of the Stanley Parable was that it was confusing and paradoxical.
Yes.
That it engendered a chaotic sense of reckless despair in those who played it. Well,
Yes.
I am happy to say that after much consideration, I've engineered a clever solution to this fundamental problem with the game. It's the Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket. You see, Stanley, anytime you're holding the bucket, a sense of calm and ease will fill your mind and your heart. It's
Where's the
true.
bucket? Oh, there's the
As long as
bucket.
you hold onto the bucket, the many disorienting contradictions of the Stanley Parable will feel perfectly normal and perhaps even comforting. You may even come to long for the gentle embrace of jarring cognitive dissonance while the bucket is in your arms. And to be honest, it's a much more convenient solution for me than actually redesigning the game to be less uncomfortable. Can you imagine what a pain in the ass that would be? Yes,
Yeah.
the bucket is the perfect solution. Come on, give it a try.
Okay. Now we're going into bucket territory, people.
Can you feel it? The glow of comfort, even in the face of crushing despair, must already be sweeping through your body. And in fact, can I say that I do believe the bucket lends you an air of charisma as well? I think that just holding it has made you the slightest bit more attractive as a person. The benefits of the bucket seem to go on, don't they? All this and more await you in the Stanley Parable 2.
JC, at
This boy started to wonder what the was going on.
well, I have a bucket now. Who left? I think the bucket left.
Does anyone give out awards for most enjoyable bucket in a video game? That really should be an award if it isn't already.
Well, I have a bucket now. We had the button that said Jim, that had me like fixating on calling everybody Jim, you know. The reassurance bucket. We got merchandise over here. Yes, merchandise is good. Remember, we have merchandise. But I don't have the thing for the merchandise here. I think I have. Let me see if this works. Yeah, you see? The Stanley Parable 2. brought to you by the merchandise from JC's channel, which you can get by typing !merch in chat. We're going meta on this one. Okay, so we're here. There you go. What can you do with this bucket? I don't know. Office decorations, the button that says again office I guess we're going to go to the office decoration things. No, I already went there. The jump circle. Oh, we got the jump circle over here. Look at the bird. Obey. Yes, exactly. Oh, look at this. There's like a map over here. You're here. Lower level. Exit over there. Is the jump circle somewhere around here? What is this?
Ah, collectibles. Now it's a real video game. In the Stanley Parable 2, you'll run around gathering up these miniature Stanley figurines. And what's truly innovative is that there will be no reward for collecting all of them. I don't want to stifle the intrinsic joy of watching a number go up. You simply collect all of them, and then you move the hell on with your unremarkable life.
Good. Yeah, I don't know if we can do anything with the bucket. I'm carrying around the bucket at this point. And now I got the Stanley Parable figurine. Collect them all.
God, it really is the worst when you collect everything in a video game and then they give you a big fancy reward for it. Absolutely tragic.
I want to go to the jump circle. The jump circle is in this direction, apparently it says. What is this? The exit is over there. Okay, the jump circle is here. Yeah, I don't know if we can go back to the other area and get the... But I'm now carrying the bucket, so that's the thing. Merchandise, collectible, infinite holes, A9. The jump circle is the end. You are here. So the jump circle is straight behind me? Oh. No, let's see. It's like... there? Okay, so the jump circle is here, apparently. Oh, here's the jump circle.
You know what? Let's bring the jump circle back for Stanley Parable 2 as well. It's a... Oh, wait. You already spent all your jumps the first time we saw the jump circle?
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Can I bring some with the bucket?
Just be a nice decorative piece, then.
Can I bring some jumps with the bucket? I don't know. Was it really fancy? Fancy? That a fancy item? Tickle and fancy. Hashtag pun. Okay, so jump circle, this map, free achievement, the button that says the name of the player that is playing the game, merchandise, setting world champion. What is this? Stanley Parable's reassurance bucket, we already got that one. Office decorations, epilogue. Where's the epilogue? It's like over here? No screenshots. The baby's all grown up. And over here you get like cellular interference noises. Can I go over here? Epilogue.
An epilogue would be fun, wouldn't it, Stanley?
Yes.
Yes, it would go at the end of the... well, we'll figure that out later.
Weird. Setting world champion. I cannot enter this. Even with my confidence bucket with me. That's new. This is new over here? This is the epilogue. Yeah. Let's see what we have here. Mostly infinite hole is being renamed. Free achievement. I already saw the free achievement. No screenshots. Michael says, I'm very confused about what this game is about. It was at this point
that JC wondered if Michael was very confused about what this game was about.
Yes. I'm also very confused about what this game is about. This game is conceptual, you know? It's meta. The infinite hole. Fine, it ended. Yes. Let me just go around. We're employing a search algorithm. Michael says that was cool. Yes. We have the narrator. Okay, infinite hole access has been restricted. Let's see. Free achievement. We already saw this, and there's nothing to do. Maybe my confidence bucket will help this time. No. Like a truck there. Anything back here? No. I am trying to ascertain if there is something that I am missing here. Because narrator, shut up. Let's go up here. Okay, this is where we found the thing. Is the game known there is a game? Inception? Yes, it's conceptual. Cannot wait to see when you find the scan barcode. JD. JC wonder if
his name was in fact JD.
Well, there could be like a scan bar somewhere around, but for now, I'm not seeing it. I'm just running around with the... We're gonna go to the exit. Because apparently there's nothing more to do here. With the, you know, the reassurance button.
All right. Have you seen everything you wanted to? Ready to move on now?
Yes, I'm ready. Doug says, JC, my bad. I didn't say anything. Maybe the narrator said something. No screenshots.
So, Stanley, what do you think? Do you like all of the new features?
Yeah.
Yes, I know it's not exactly clear yet how exactly these features will come together as one single coherent video game, but I can feel it in my soul. It's going to work. There's definitely a good game in there somewhere. Say, let's do an experiment.
Okay.
I'll arrange these new features together, and we'll see whether or not it coheres into a meaningful gameplay experience. Okay. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Here it is. I give you the Stanley Parable 2.
Someone farted over there.
Well, I mean, there's potential here, right? It's sort of... Okay, never mind. Hold on. Let me do a different arrangement.
I have a bucket over here.
Yes, this is much better. I feel good about this. Here we go. Version 2.
Someone farted over there.
Who am I kidding, Stanley? This isn't a coherent video game at all. It's a lot of gags. And I do very much enjoy creating gags, but they don't add up to anything. I wanted more than anything to create a sequel that would capture all the magic of the first game. I wanted fans to love it. No matter how good these gags are, they won't stand on their own. They would need the structure and the gameplay of the original. Wait, maybe that's it. I can take the original Stanley Parable and simply, well, insert a few of my new features into it. Tastefully, of course.
Yes.
With respect. With care for the vision and integrity of the original game.
You're right, Greg. Hey, bro, you want the bucket? I got the reassurance bucket over here.
A really, really tremendous title screen. A title screen that says with bold and uncompromising conviction...
And Jason C says, the bucket needs a list.
Let's see if I can whip something up. All right, perfect. Go ahead. Take a look.
Okay. You got your first Mr. Beast bars today. What is a Mr. Beast bars? Begin the game. Maybe the bucket is Jim, maybe. Well, the Stanley Parable too. We're starting the game.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
Yes.
Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was...
We skipped. Okay.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Balloons.
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Problem is that I don't have my bucket. And that is just the bullcrap. I earned my bucket. Now we have just these stupid balloons all over the... Oh, look at this, the bucket!
Stanley picked up the bucket.
Stanley looked at the 420 door. He could not enter, for he had not paid extra. Yes, a different star design. But luckily I have my bucket. Name the bucket Jim. Okay.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be.
With the bucket.
And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting room? Yes, Stanley thought to himself. Yes, perhaps it truly was. How insightful the bucket turned out to be.
We call this bucket Jim. Look at this. There's like a face on the machine here. You paid extra. You can enter the room, says Jason.
No,
Yeah.
never mind. The bucket was wrong.
Oh, crap.
Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room. And so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door.
So this is basically the Stanley Parable with a bucket.
Good, Stanley. I'm glad you found your way here. I knew you'd find this place eventually.
Where is this place? Oh, Jesus Christ!
You see, your friends and I are concerned for you, Stanley. We've come together here because we care about you very much. It's this bucket you're carrying around everywhere. The bucket isn't even from the original Stanley Parable. It's just sequel content. We're the ones that matter, Stanley. Classic characters from the first game, like the Adventure Line and the Broom Closet. Because that's what fans want from a sequel. They want more of their favorite jokes, not this bucket that they've never seen before. Yes, I know I'm the one who gave you the bucket, but you're spending too much time with it. Don't you want another story involving the Adventure Line? We could make the Adventure Line go somewhere new. Yes, yes, that's what the fans want. Let's do it.
I guess we could follow the Adventure Line. This baby is kind of freaking me the hell out. And this is like the mannequin lady. And this is the computer. And over here we got the broom closet with the broom. Okay, let's follow the Adventure Line.
Whee! Look at that wacky line. Who knows where it'll go off to next? Oh, and it played some silly music as well.
It is a companion bucket. Yes, Pongo. Creepy room and entertainment. Yes. Okay, we're following the Adventure Line.
Now this is what the Stanley Parable is all about. Don't you remember all those great jokes from the original dialogue?
Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
Yes, it's as classic now as it was back then.
Yeah, hello,
Let's do
Pongo.
it for the fans, Stanley. Let's give them more content exactly like this. But if we want to do that, you're going to have to give something up.
What, the bucket? No, it's my bucket. GC, in fact.
Ed did not want to give up Rocket. Also said hello to Pongo in chat.
Hey, Pongo. Following the Adventure
Don't you get
Line
it,
over
Stanley?
here.
We need to get rid of the bucket.
No.
That's why I'm very proud to introduce a brand new character. This is the Bucket Destroyer.
Okay.
I think it'll make a wonderful new addition to the rich lore of the Stanley Parable. True, it also was not in the original game, but it's such a well-fleshed-out character with so much personality that to me, it already feels as though it's been part of the cast all along. Don't you agree?
This is so weird.
Can you guess what the Bucket Destroyer does? Surely you don't need me to spell it out for you. Go ahead now, Stanley. Say goodbye to the bucket, and then pop it into the machine when you're ready.
Hey, it's my bucket, bro. How do I turn off this thing?
Now listen to me. It's crucial that you give it the bucket.
I don't want to give it
what
the
bucket
bucket.
Destroyer will do if
It's
it
not
can't
on the
destroy
bucket
your
list.
bucket. Destroying buckets is all it knows. That is its singular personality trait. Sure, I can hear you saying, how does a character with only one personality trait deserve to join the pantheon of beloved Stanley Parable characters? Well, you see, if you were to really explore the Bucket Destroyer, you would see that its
No, the
desire to
companion
crush
bucket,
buckets
no.
is so densely loaded with complexity and nuance that it's really like 10 personality traits. What other object in this game can you even say that about? The broom closet? Certainly not. I wonder what sort of Bucket Destroyer merchandise the fans will be clamoring for after this. Okay, the Bucket Destroyer is getting very upset now. You'll have to hurry and feed it. We can't get back to the classic Stanley Parable characters like the Adventure Line or the Bucket Destroyer until you crush that damn bucket. Quickly now, the fans are waiting. Do it, the fans, Stanley. Give the fans what they want. Hurry and
All I can say is whoever made this game was definitely smoking the weed. But I don't know if they paid extra.
The Bucket Destroyer, my prized creation. You had so much potential. We were going to do such marvelous things with you, tell such spellbinding stories about you. All of
This
it
is so
squandered
weird.
now. Goodbye, new friend.
Bye,
For the
Bucket
moment in
Destroyer.
time that you were here, you were magnificent.
Okay, see you later, Bucket Destroyer. Have a good one. The Bucket Destroyer. You see, this game is conceptual, people. You gotta embrace the madness and the weirdness. You see? Oh, we're back here.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go
my
to the
bucket.
meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. Stanley lifted the bucket into his arms, and a wave of comfort rushed over him.
Like the game that wasn't a game. Yes, wrong
Stanley
dimension.
clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
The good thing is now I have a
was
bucket.
here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers.
The Bucket Destroyer kicked the bucket. JC appreciated.
Edit pun insert. Good puns, bad puns, hashtag pun.
Yes, why did you make the bucket, creator? Why have you forsaken the bucket? Oh, the broom closet. I can stay
Stanley,
here.
can you feel it?
What,
the broom closet. It
Yes.
wants the bucket. You can feel that, can't you? The aura of jealousy? It's as clear as day. This broom closet believes it deserves the bucket. Come
No,
into
it's my
Stanley's.
bucket.
Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
My bucket. Ooh, the executive bathroom. Now with a bucket. Oh, look at this!
You found one of them. One of the miniature Stanley figurines. Remember, no reward for collecting all of these, only the intrinsic pleasure of a job well done. You can't buy that sort of happiness, Stanley. God knows I've tried.
Yes.
So, I implore you to savor each and every moment you come across one of these beautiful figurines.
Weird. Okay, so... Bucket is wise, yes. Gotta collect them all. If you don't have the access to the poopatorium, you can use the bucket. Remember? There's an elevator over there. Let me just see back here. Bucket, keep the buckets destroying, saying only plus one more victory for the companion bucket. Yes.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire if not for the soothing presence of the bucket.
Yes.
Even now, in his darkest of hours,
Don't
did
poop
the
on Jim.
bucket's warmth and guiding light pierce the dark clouds of confusion and chaos. It would be with him always. The bucket would. And he knew it. The two of them were inseparable. At this point, Stanley was so absorbed in the tender spiritual connection he shared with the bucket that he didn't notice the keypad behind the boss's desk.
Oh.
Nor in his bliss of simply being near the bucket did he have any notion that the PIN number for the keypad was 2845.
There we go.
But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck.
And by the
Was
bucket.
it the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him?
Yes.
Yes. This is certainly the most logical explanation.
It is the most logical explanation. It's all because of the bucket. News about the bucket is always leaked to the public. #pun. Jim is always here in spirit with the bucket. Oh, look at this.
Another miniature Stanley figurine. This, there really must be a snappier name for these things. What about mini-stands? Stanley figs? Or what about Stanlerines? Yes, I think I like that. Another Stanlerine under your belt.
That is so weird. The good thing is I'm running around with my bucket now. I like it. Stanley.
The elevator raced downward, plummeting towards an unknown fate. It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together.
Buckets
if
of
not
the
for
old Republic.
bucket. Soothing him, comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right.
Yes.
The bucket is here for you, Stanley. Everything will be fine.
You know, we might
Stanley
be
and
able
the
to
bucket
get
walked straight ahead
the water
through
in
the
the
large door
bucket.
that read, Mind Control Facility.
It says escape.
Although this
escaping.
passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley and the bucket would both meet a violent death.
I don't think so.
The door behind them was not shut. Stanley and the bucket still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
Yes.
At this point, Stanley and the bucket were knowingly walking forward into a very painful death for each of them.
Ah. There was once a man named Stan Bucket. Yes. Whoa. Okay, look at this. We're in a bucket with a bucket.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley and the bucket inched closer to their demise, Stanley reflected on how meaningless the bucket's warmth and comfort had turned out to be. To be sure, it puts the mind and the soul at ease to embrace the
7
bucket.
days to die.
But what
The
use
bucket,
is a
yes.
sense of ease when you're about to be crushed to death? This is what Stanley thought to himself, and he sort of kicked himself for wasting so much time carrying a bucket everywhere. Farewell, Stanley.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley and the bucket were led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, the bucket's life came to an end, as it was crushed violently to death.
No. Oh. Yes, we got now a female narrator. Narrating the situation with the bucket. Okay, I guess we go over here. Oh, look at this. The Stanley
It was a
Parable.
shame, the death of such a magnificent bucket. It's true that all buckets are radiant in their own way, but this one stood above the rest. It was a glorious bucket to behold.
Indeed. As you can see here, the bucket welcomes you to the grand exhibit. All of this dedicated
Can
to
you
the true
see how
hero of the
arrogant
Stanley
it was
Parable
for
2.
Stanley to take a bucket
The
like
bucket.
this and to claim it for his own? Can you see
Hey.
the hubris that blinded
Give
him?
me that bucket.
Can you see that the bucket is far more noble than Stanley will ever be in his short life?
I need my bucket. Why is my bucket over there? Someone took my damn bucket. Okay. How do we get the bucket back? Yes, this narrator. Oh, look at this. This is an early prototype version of the bucket. A replica of the Inferno bucket. Wow. Look at this. Prehistoric drawings of buckets. Why did it take the bucket? Because the bucket is powerful, man.
No man can own a bucket, and certainly not a bucket as dazzling to behold as this one. It is man who should kneel before the bucket.
The hanging bucket.
Jesse at this point was seriously considering that this was one of the weirdest games he had ever played. This was bananas.
Okay, can I get the bucket? Ah, I got the bucket.
But there is something we can do. Something we can do together, you and I, that will right this terrible wrong. Let Stanley die. Let him be crushed by the machine.
No.
Don't reset the game. Don't give him another opportunity to run off with another beautiful bucket. We can save the world's buckets from their treatment as tools and implements if only we let Stanley die together. The bucket shall take its place as ruler, as leader, as commander of a new world, a new vision.
I got squished.
Already this was uncomfortable, and
Yes, I
Stanley
know.
decided that as soon as he found a new space he felt safe in, that he would never leave it again in his life. The confusion and the chaos all seemed to melt away as Stanley embraced the bucket.
You know, the good thing is now I have a bucket. Every game should have a bucket. Buckets are good.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Nothing there. Nothing there. Nothing there. Nothing there. There will be a reward for finding them all. Lies. Who are you? There will be cleaning of this wall required. 666. Lol. Okay, this is getting, you know, like satanic in nature. Weird. Trust the completionist instinct. We can do it. Red room. Follow clues provided by employee 416. Thank you. Good luck.
Oh, Stanley, can you feel it? The broom closet. It wants the bucket. You can feel that, can't you?
I know,
the
I
aura
know.
of jealousy. It's as clear as day. This broom closet believes it deserves the bucket.
It's my
I
bucket.
can really feel it now.
It's my
It's
bucket.
a bucket. It belongs in a broom closet. That's what the broom closet is trying to say here.
It's my
supposed to go
bucket.
with the other cleaning supplies.
Oh, shut up.
Good for you, Stanley. Don't give in. Don't hand over.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Yes, we did. You need the bucket to store the figurines. Exactly. Nothing else here? No. I want writing on the walls. It's weird. Panda. Sad panda. Ding dong. Ding dong. Sometimes you just gotta jam with a bucket in an elevator. bucket in an elevator. I don't know, I think I went downstairs with the bucket in the last run. I don't remember exactly. This game kind of messes with your head, you know? And you start thinking in buckets. Yes, music. Ding ding. What? That was weird. Ding dong. Okay, that thing is busted. Not working.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover
Glowing
not an
note on the floor?
indication
I
of
think it's
anything
just
good.
like, you know, there's
Crushed
papers
by the weight of this
sometimes.
revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire if not for the soothing presence of the bucket.
Yes.
Even now, in his darkest of hours, did the bucket's warmth and guiding light pierce the dark clouds of confusion and chaos. It would be with him, always. The bucket would. And he knew it.
Yes, give me the
two of them
combination.
were inseparable. At this point, Stanley was so absorbed in the tender spiritual connection he shared with the bucket that he didn't notice the keypad behind the boss's desk. Nor in his bliss of simply being near the bucket did he have any notion that the PIN number for the keypad was 2845.
Ah. Almost got
But
it.
Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him?
Yes.
Yes. This is certainly the most logical explanation.
This is based on the bucket. I was just looking for figurines with the bucket. You see, this game is trippy. You need to get partially drunk in order to play it properly. Or something like that.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead.
What happens if you type the number backwards? Nah, nothing.
Mind control
I remember
facility.
that's like a mechanic from the original one. Let's see what happens now that I have the bucket.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret
An album
did this
of
place
elevator
hold?
music?
Stanley
Weird.
and the bucket both wondered to themselves.
The bucket was the most original video game character JC had ever seen.
Oh yeah, I forgot this. When we entered the room. Sorry. Thank you, Maddie.
The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it
You-
very
you
nearly
catching
burst
it in
into
the wild?
tears as Stanley cradled
Yeah.
it gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine.
Look at all those things. Did you see? 234 is different. I think this might be hints that there is something hidden in those, you see? 234. And 601 was fired. But there is something in cubicle 234, you see? Right there. Yeah, Jason. We were talking about this being the
Was the
like,
bucket under the
like,
mind
with
control
the
facility's
architect
influence as well? Had the
scene.
bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do? What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place?
Who knows?
These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind.
Buckets work in mysterious ways.
No! He screamed into the bucket.
He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control, never! He squeezed the bucket tighter, his one friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust no one except for the bucket.
Trust the bucket.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. But at the last second, the bucket jumped in and pressed the button to turn on the controls. Stanley gasped in horror. Had this been the bucket's plan all along? To take over the machine and claim the power for itself? How could the bucket have betrayed him like this? Stanley was prepared to throw the bucket away in disgust when suddenly an image appeared upon the enormous screen. Birds. Silly, silly birds. The control buttons became active again.
Silly birds.
Stanley flipped through one video of silly birds after another, and then it dawned on him. This wasn't a mind control facility at all. It was a
bird
facility
facility
for monitoring and surveilling silly birds all over the world. The mind controls were only a facade to disguise its true intentions. Had the bucket known this all along? Stanley marveled at the metal genius in his hands, the one who had pointed him towards this incredible discovery. Stanley and the bucket never found freedom because they spent the rest of their lives here in this place, flipping through live streams of the silliest birds imaginable. Of all the possible paths his life could have taken, this one was surely the best. And Stanley was happy.
You see, we got the happy ending. Weird. Resume the game, begin the game again, quick to menu. Okay, people, that was the Stanley Parable 2. There's probably a lot more iterations and more adventures to be had with the bucket. Free yourself, yes, you look at the birds, you have your bucket, it's good, you know? But you know, for now, we've been streaming for 2 hours, and this game was bad crazy. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go get something to like eat light, because I had a big thing, you know. Funny invitations to have an innocent endgame medal. It nuts, yes. And remember that in a few hours, episode 2 of the Mortuary Assistance goes up. So yeah, that's it for this stream. I hope you enjoyed it. And then see you next time.